Our time in Arizona had come to an end and we were hitting the road again. Our destination this time, the Pacific Northwest. The first stop on our road trip is Zion National Park. On the way there, we made a quick stop in Page, Arizona to check out the beautiful sandstone formations and Horseshoe Bend. Horseshoe Bend used to be more of a casual roadside attraction. When we were there, it was extremely built up with a $10 entrance fee, paved parking lot, and a very wide gravel path with small rest areas with shade. Due to our schedule, we were there on a weekend around midday. It was about 94 degrees and very crowded. The views were amazing and well worth the short hike even with the extreme temperatures. On our way out of Page, we stopped to explore the Glen Canyon Dam, and then it was off to Zion.
We made it to Zion National Park. We were super excited to be here. We had a couple stops on our way up here and we're super excited to explore.
When we made it to Springdale, we went right to our hotel. Our plan was to get up before the sun and catch the first shuttle into the park and try and beat some of the crowds. At the time, we had no idea just how busy the park was going to be.
Typically, Memorial Day is the busiest weekend of the year for Zion.
Last Memorial Day weekend, the park says about 19,000 people visited Zion. That means it's busy.
Our plan was to be at the bus stop 45 minutes before boarding. Turns out, hundreds of others had the exact same idea. Despite the crowds, we actually got a good place in line and made it onto the second bus into the park. And by 7:30, we were on our way up to Scouts Overlook. So we are finally on the trail to Scouts Overlook. We don't have permits to Angel's Landing, so we will not be doing that this morning. After being crammed on the bus like sardines, we have made it here at about 7:30 and it is actually quite peaceful. Everyone's kind of walking their own pace and we are on our way up to Scouts Overlook. Getting steep. We're about 600 feet of climb and we just got into the little slot canyon that's right before you go up some crazy switchbacks. So far so good. It's all like super paved, so you actually don't even have to watch your footing. You can just go for it. I think so far this is the coolest part of the hike. The views coming up were spectacular, but there's just something about being in this sandstone slot canyon. All right, we have made it to the top of Scouts Overlook.
And we are just standing at the entrance of the Angel's Landing Trail just to check it out. The view looking further left this way, but we're not doing Angel's Landing today.
It looks pretty scary. I'm not a heights person. We enjoyed the view and now we are heading down. When we were on our way back down, this is when we started to get our first taste for the infamous crowds that Zion is known for. After seeing that, we were very thankful that we started as early as we did and got the chance to enjoy a peaceful hike to the top. Alright, so we just completed Scouts Overlook and have made it back down to the bottom, and now we are just at a little offshoot from that trail that says river access, and we're actually the only ones here despite it being extremely busy. So we're just going to sit and enjoy the river for a couple minutes. We are now walking to the start of the Narrows Trail. We're not going to get in the water, but we are just going to walk to where the water starts. We just made it to the end of the Narrows Trail. It is a circus out here.
Welcome to Disney World in Utah.
Yeah, this is crazy. Look at this. It is beautiful, but it could not be more crowded. I'm excited to come back in the winter.
Yeah, we like the cold.
I would say that we are very happy with not going in the water. Just doing this 1 mile out, 1 mile back trail, while it is extremely busy, because this seems to be where 60% of people were getting off at the bus stop. This is very fulfilling to be within the canyon here and to see the stream the way it is, and just look at all the rocks and the cliffs.
The water's really cool. It's got this like nice bluish tinge to it, turquoise kind of color. If you get it at the right angle, and that's really cool.
Zion National Park had been something that was hyped up for years before our visit. We can officially say, even with the crowds, Zion exceeded our expectations, and we are excited to return in the future. Maybe just in the off-season. In the morning, we left Springdale and made the 2-hour drive to our next destination, Bryce Canyon National Park. So we're about 15 minutes from Bryce Canyon National Park, and we decided to do a little hike on the side of the road called Tunnel Trail Overlook, I believe the trail is called. And I think this is maybe a mile total, but it should give us an overlook of the tunnels that are on the scenic byway. I know we're not in the national park yet. This couldn't be a bigger contrast than Zion. We are the only people on this trail. It is very nice to be by ourselves for once. We have made it to the top of the trail, and we have a beautiful view of the 2 tunnels that the road is going through. And then after that, it was off to the national park.
We've officially made it into Bryce Canyon National Park. You're headed to the Navajo Trail so that we can hike into the canyon.
So we finished up with the Navajo Loop. It was extremely busy. So it was a little bit awkward to record in front of a bunch of people. I don't really like talking to the camera when there's a bunch of people around. But the Navajo Loop, absolutely amazing. I'd say if you want to get into the canyon without really going far in, it was only about 2 miles that we ended up walking, about 500 feet. Perfect little intro into the canyon. And now we drove the entire way up the scenic drive to the Bristol Cone Trail. It is much less crowded here as the parking lot's really small. Ended up having to wait about 5 or 10 minutes for a spot to open up. We're gonna go and see some Bristol Cone pines. We made it to the end of the trail. It's quite windy, but I will say this so far is the best view in the entire park for sure. And the Bristol Cone trees are really cool. I would put this trail right with the Navajo Loop as must-do trails in the park.
Pretty great, not too crowded. And you get to see some Bristol cone trees, which are some of the oldest trees that there are. We are at a viewpoint where you can see where the Grand Canyon is, and on the sign it says that on a clear day you can see the San Francisco Peak, which are in Flagstaff, Arizona.
We are back in the park around 5 p.m. doing Inspiration Point. There was no way we were going to park earlier in the day around 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. They had the parking lot shut down, but around 5 o'clock we drove right up and there were probably 5 or 6 spots open. So far it is definitely the best view in the park. It shows Inspiration Point as a walk from the parking lot, but it doesn't show how much elevation there is. We're almost there. This is certainly the best view in the park. It's not close.
We're at Inspiration Point, and we're in the area that they call the amphitheater because it looks like an amphitheater with all the hoodoos.
At the end of the day, we enjoyed dinner at the Bryce Canyon Lodge, and then it was back to our hotel to be up early for the next leg of our trip. Our next destination took us about 4 hours down Scenic Highway 12 to Capitol Reef National Park.
We are stopping for coffee at the Kiva Coffee House, which is in the middle of this scenic byway in Utah, and it just has some phenomenal views. We're gonna show you what it looks like.
Highway 12 was without a doubt the most beautiful drive on our trip. I wish I would have gotten more footage, but the whole trip we were just in a state of awe and really living in the moment. If you are ever touring through the state of Utah, Highway 12 between Capitol Reef and Bryce Canyon is an absolute must-do.
Hello, we've just made it to Capitol Reef National Park. We are on the road, we passed the sign, and we're headed to the Gifford Homestead as our first stop because we would like to get some pie, because we hear that's something you have to do while you're here. So let's see if we can get a piece of pie. We got our pie. We got a cherry pie and a strawberry rhubarb pie.
We were researching for this park. We had heard that definitely be here by noon in the on season if you want a pie. When we got there, it was exactly 12 p.m. and there was tons of pies in the cabinet, and they were even restocking more pies when we got there. If you've been there, feel free to tell us about your experience in the comments. Now we have just started the scenic drive through the park.
So far, I am very surprised. I had very low expectations for Capitol Reef. Honestly, the pie was kind of what I knew most about it. And the scenery here is just spectacular. In the same way in the ocean where you're traveling and you can't pass through a reef, it's a barrier reef, the same way those travelers by wagon couldn't get through this reef because it was a barrier reef. So therefore it's Capitol Reef. That's how it's got its name.
Just started on the Hickman Bridge Trail, which I think might be the most popular trail in the park. But we got here at the trailhead around 2:30. There were 2 spots available in the parking lot, a lot easier than the last 2 parks so far.
It's always rewarding when you get to the point in your hike of what you're looking for. And then you see it and you're like, yes, I made it.
So we made it up to the arch. It is definitely worth coming out to do this. It is way bigger than it looks in the pictures for sure. But depending on what time of day you do it, there is actually a lot of shade provided by the rocks. It got quite hot on the way up, so we're very thankful for these rocks providing us with good shade. Capitol Reef really surprised both of us. We are excited to go back when we have a little more time to enjoy the awesome hiking trails they have in the park. When we left, we drove about 70 miles to Richfield, Utah, where we would spend the night before the next leg of our trip. This concludes part 1 of our 2026 spring road trip. Come back next week where we explore Yellowstone National Park and finish our drive all the way to Washington State.